Hello everyone, this part of the course is dealing with the topic of sustainability. This is the first part of the course and we will be dealing with issues like what is sustainability, what it means and how we can interpret it. We will say something shortly about the history and related topics to the concept of sustainability. So you can guess when was maybe the concept of sustainability or more precisely environmental sustainability first introduced. You can think like maybe which century or which life events contributed to its establishment. So the true answer is that the concept of environmental sustainability was introduced in 1987 and it is related to United Nations World Commission on Environment and Development Issues. Uh, the document or the key document dealing with this issue of sustainability was so-called Brundtland Report, which is also known as document called Our Common Future. This first document on environmental sustainability was dealing with the concept that we should preserve nature and make it sustainable for future generations so the future life of future generations will not be compromised. The concept of sustainability has after that come through many different relations. So sustainability can be also related to United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, so-called SDGs. Those are goals encouraging all countries and sectors to work in collaboration to eventually achieve sustainability by addressing challenges related to sustainable development. The concept of sustainability can be really related to many aspects of environmental ethics, but also to kind of natural sciences and their observations. Here we can see that there is 9 aspects of Earth system processes that should be monitored and not crossed in order to maintain really sustainability of our planet. It involves like biosphere integrity, land use change, climate change, freshwater use, ocean acidification, biogeochemical flows, atmospheric aerosol pollution, stratospheric ozone depletion, and release of novel chemicals. On this picture, we can see that the inner green shading represents the proposed safe operating space for 9 planetary systems, and the red wedges represent an estimate of the current position for each variable. As we can see, the boundaries in 3 systems, rate of biodiversity loss, climate change, and human interference with the nitrogen cycle, have already been exceeded. And what it means to be really sustainable in the practice. Sustainability means that we really prioritize needs of all forms of the planet by ensuring that human activity does not exceed planetary boundaries. So this definition that can be found in Green Competencies Framework is a little bit different than the original understanding of sustainable development in the document of Our Common Future. because as we will later see, when we will be dealing with environmental ethics and theories of environmental ethics, the document from 1987 was oriented more on anthropocentric understanding, that is like human focused understanding of sustainability. So the priority was given to future generations of people and not to future of the whole planet. Also, the new understanding of sustainability is more like ecocentric or biocentric, which we can understand that it is taking into account all life forms, so the well-being of all life forms. Another interesting theoretical aspect of understanding sustainability can be like more like weak understanding of sustainability and strong understanding of sustainability. For instance, the weak understanding of sustainability is like approaching the solution to environmental problems by merely trying to really replace natural kind of capital with human made capital. For instance, we can imagine that there would be created some plastic trees which would be so developed that they can produce oxygen, absorb carbon, and support, let's say, animals, including insect communities, and so on. And the world will be functioning in a similar way. However, this is really like a little bit problematic understanding, and it's really like too maybe optimistic understanding of solution of environmental problems. Uh, Maybe better solution is the strong sustainability approach, which is claiming that we really should resist the substitution of human for natural capital. So we should rather preserve the original natural entities and natural processes, because the full understanding of this complexity of environmental entities is maybe too difficult, and it is really too difficult to replace all the elements of our environment and create really like the harmony of nature without any negative consequences. So we can understand also the Bratland report as advocating a form of strong sustainability. So it is really like the first priority is given to establish the problem of disappearing, for instance, species and threatened ecosystem on political agendas as a major resource issue. The problem of sustainability is really related to also ambiguity of words. We will be dealing with these issues in some further chapters of this course, like the ambiguity of this term, which is frequently used, but the understanding of different people in the discussion can be radically different. And then it is really important to have the common understanding of the term when we are leading some discussions, because we can come to kind of agreement that we agree that sustainability is important. But as we could see, if someone is proponent of more, let's say, weak understanding of sustainability, and we are proponents of strong sustainability, we can come to different practical applications of the concept of sustainability. So this is really important to keep in mind, and we will be dealing with these topics also, for instance, in the part of the course dedicated to critical thinking and argumentation. So the terms sustainability are also like the terms like nature, for instance, they are very ambiguous. The topic is very related to the concept of economical growth and the concepts like, for instance, degrowth, which is really understanding the problem that really like the growth of economy cannot be like eternal when our resources are limited. As we all know, there are like resources that are renewable and which are not renewable. However, this understanding even of the renewable resources is not fully like without problem that we can forever really use, let's say, wood from the forest, because then we can grow new and new, or let's say animals, because then we can kind of produce new animals, because as we will also see in the other parts of the course, there are also other issues related to this problem, like, let's say, the trees or the forests are really complex ecosystems, and when we see them only like farms for planting trees, we are really ignoring many aspects of the of the forest as such, like, let's say, really like ecosystem with other living animals and other ecological processes. So the problem of limited resources, and these are leading us, for instance, to the concept of degrowth, which is really like trying to little bit slow down or to diminish the idea of growth, of eternal economical growth. For instance, as Rees has said, that the mainstream fantasy, this obsession with growth, cannot end well. So he's really understanding the eternal linear growth as mainstream fantasy, which is really not achievable in the long term. We can already see that the problem of economical growth is related, for instance, to unequal distribution of goods and unequal distribution of burdens. This is related, for instance, to population ethics, to environmental justice and injustice, like, for instance, the problem of global south versus global north, and different in unfair distribution of really those environmental burdens, like, for instance, pollution, and environmental benefits, like, for instance, consuming uh, various types of goods. We can see that our current population is very growing, and our human footprint is really like kind of increasing. So it is really uh, of utmost importance to think about the concepts such as degrowth, or for instance post-growth, or other alternative concepts. For instance, the consumption of earth's resources can be seen like very unequal among different countries, like, let's say, among United States, China, Niger, and so on. The consumptions is really radically different. So in the following parts of the course, we will be dealing more with the issues like values and environmental ethics related to the concept of sustainability.